Thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. It's an illustrious crowd. I'm honored to be able to speak to you. Today my topic is jewelry television, actually the beginning of TV shopping and how jewelry television has impacted the colored stone industry. I hope you'll see that, that TV shopping, although it's had kind of a colored reputation, if it's done properly, it is really a powerful marketing tool to educate and to provide access to quality and information about gemstones that really didn't exist before. And that's one of the reasons why jewelry television has been successful, I believe. So, and I know some in the audience know about jewelry television. There's a few of us here that I've bought gems from over the years. Thank you for that. And there's even one or two that have been on television with us here. But I suspect that most of you, if not nearly all of you, probably don't know much about TV shopping and may not think you'll ever care much about it either. But I hope by the end of my speech you'll see that we're actually in the same business, and we're actually creating the demand all the way down the supply chain. So the TV shopping, as it's done with jewelry television, is actually very good for the entire industry. When I was asked to speak here, I'm not really much of a public speaker, but I had to think, what do we have in common? And right instantly I thought, well, we all buy and sell gemstones. And certainly we all love gemstones, and I think we love what we do. And it's that love and that passion that has helped jewelry television be successful over time. We're in our 22nd year, and as our Harvard professor told us, longevity, when others fall away, speaks to something of doing what we do in the proper way. And I will hope to go into that more. I've been a gemologist since I graduated from GIA in 1981. I've always been on the wholesale side of the business. Since '99, I've been senior buyer for gemstone buyer for jewelry television, a very tiny TV shopping network in those days. But the first, well, actually to go back to TV shopping, it was an innovation in technology that allowed satellites in space, in synchronization with the Earth. So it was new technology that allowed to beam up TV signals up to the satellites and back. You see, I have a very technical background here. Up there and then back down to anyone with in those days, large dishes. And then people began to sell things on television. That was the beginning of the TV shopping network. The first gemstone ever sold on television was about 1987, and it was sold by Jerry Sisk, one of the founders of jewelry television. Many of you, I think, have met Jerry. He was definitely a gemstone visionary, a lover of gemstones. Sadly, he passed away in January of 2013. But it was his passion and love for gems that helped create jewelry television and gives it the kind of the unique mission that we try to execute daily. The first time I ever sold to a TV shopping network, it was actually selling to Jerry Sisk. He was a TV talk show host on a very small micro TV network in Knoxville, Tennessee, a southern state in the United States. It was called Shop at Home, and a TV show host is nothing more than a salesperson talking into a camera selling. But Jerry quickly fell in love with gemstones, and I was in the business, so I sold him some stones. And for a few years, we did a little bit of business. And then in 1994, right after jewelry television started, it was Jerry Sisk, who was the show host, Bob Hall, who was the president of Shop at Home, and Bill Counts, who was a friend of Jerry Sisk. They spun off from Shop at Home and started their own network, again in Tennessee, Jerry called me up one day and said, "Hey, Jay, come on down. We've got our own network." I said, "Great." He said, "Bring a lot of gems." So that's what I did. And I was always trying to find a market to sell to, because I live in a small state in Iowa, but as far away from a supply as anyone can get. Nobody bought gems where I lived. Nobody sold gems. And I always tried to answer that question: how can I make a living buying and selling gems? That's what drove me to find television in the early days, looking for a way to sell to a market, to reach people. So, first slide here. Today, jewelry television is, now we're retailers, but today we're the largest retailer of loose colored gemstones. About 70 to 75% of our business is jewelry, meaning primarily colored stone jewelry, very little diamond jewelry, primarily colored stone jewelry, and about 25 to 30% of our business are loose colored gemstones. And we're on the air 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, in about 83, 84 million homes in the United States. It's a very costly business to operate. Many have tried. Really, I think over 225 shopping networks have risen up in the United States. They've all failed but about 4 of them. And currently there are 4, and 3 of them are profitable, and we are one of them. I checked in to see how much in gemstones we sold, and what I was told, about $2 billion since 1994. It really started in about 2000 when jewelry television started to grow, and they began to buy more cable time and expand their reach, more and more homes. And then that's when we began to sell more and more loose gemstones, starting around 2000 to 2007. We are one of the top electronic retailers of jewelry, meaning websites that feature jewelry in the United States. And we have an extremely comprehensive website with a tremendous amount of resource, learning, and education tools for our customers there. And that's a key, I believe, of why jewelry television has been successful. We've always been on the side of the table of the customer, trying to, number one, to create access, give access to anyone with a TV to colored gemstones. I mean, we all know ours is a difficult business to penetrate. It's mysterious, it's secret, it's hard to know what's going on. There's not a lot of published knowledge about it. So the idea was to get on television and to reveal the secret side of the gem business. It's an exciting story that many of us have told to our clients over the years, and that's what we do on jewelry television. I call it romancing the stone, telling the story of gemstones, where they were formed, how they were formed, when they were formed, how they're mined, how the stones get cut and polished, how we negotiate and buy the stones and then grade them and sort them and price them, and then telling the story of the value of these gemstones today, what the value was historically, what it was the last couple of years. So that information, market information, was largely non-existent in any form other than perhaps a few trade journals that would occasionally give some great articles, but sometimes the articles might be 3 months, 6 months, 18 months after the fact of if we're very active as we are, of us coming upon the information. So we give that market information on a daily basis as we know it, and we're in touch with many of you here in the room on a regular basis by email and by email and cell phone today. We ship 15 to 20,000 packages a day. Very difficult business to operate. So let's go to the next slide. Or am I going to the next slide? Hold on. There we go. Creating demand. That's primarily what we do, and we do it through telling the fascinating story of gemstones, providing the access of all gems. We sell really everything. My side of the business is loose gemstones, and I think it was said that it's Jay's company. It's not my company. I'm an employee, but my side of the business is to acquire, buy, source, negotiate, buy gemstones of all types and qualities. We sell from the lowest and least expensive all the way up to the nearly the top. I mean, the most expensive stone I've ever sold to one of our customers was a $400,000 sapphire. That's unusual, but we regularly sell stones for $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, interspersed with more mass market price points that might average somewhere between $70 and $200 on any particular show. One of the ways that we are successful, because we're always bringing new product to the market, if there's a new find of a new gemstone, we're excited to get a hold of it, and our customers are excited to also buy it. We've really created hundreds of thousands of collectors, and I can tell you and I've talked to thousands of them personally now, and I can tell you that, in my opinion, virtually none of them would have ever bought a colored stone in their entire life if it weren't for Jewelry Television and how we teach and promote and sell, the prices we sell, the information we give, and of course a 30-day money-back guarantee that makes it really risk-free shopping. So if there's a new find like there was in color change garnet in southern Tanzania about 2 or 3 years ago, one of our trusted suppliers came to me with a bag of the rough. I saw that had a great change. We talked about what the cost was. He was buying it right at the source. We decided he would cut from about a 1/4 carat up to 15 carat sizes. We figured out a price per carat on everything, and I said, okay, we'll take it all. What I want you to do is to buy it, cut it, make perfectly cut it clean, and this will be good for our market because, of course, it's a natural stone, it's untreated, it has a phenomena. It was a new source. It was actually, a lot of it had a blue color. Garnet had never been seen blue. So that's a perfect gemstone for a TV shopping market. Has everything going for it, and it's new and exciting and affordable. So that was a big hit for us. And then that market ran out, and of course, we explained that too. So all of this educating and explaining and teaching about the gemstone industry, this is all done while we're selling, because if we're not selling, we can't pay for this incredibly expensive business model that we have. Just to mention, it really looks easy to do what we do. For instance, all of us in the room know how to buy gems. All of us in the room, I would suspect, know how to sell gems. And it doesn't look that hard to do, but hundreds of networks have tried and failed. It's a very difficult business model, particularly in the United States, which is the largest, wealthiest market still in the world. And the airtime costs in the U.S. are extremely high and prohibitive. And it's actually very difficult, even if you sell a lot of goods, to be profitable. I know you might find that hard to imagine, but let's say you have a booth here, and your booth, let's say it costs $4,000. But it's, for us, it's not can we sell the goods, it's how fast we can sell them, and the margin we have, and then the return rate that we get, average return rate, 20 to 30%. So in order for us to be profitable is velocity. How fast, if we show that stone, how many can we sell in a distinct short period of time, and is there enough margin after the return rate, minus our costs, to overcome our overhead? And I can tell you it's difficult. I've been on the air sometimes when we sold $30,000, $40,000 of a product in 15 minutes, a half hour, and at the end of the day, when we looked at our metrics, we actually lost money. Why? Because it sold just a little too slowly. An example, if you have a booth here and it costs $4,000, then you can probably you sell a few stones, you've paid your expenses. But imagine if that booth cost you $400,000. Right? And you have, 4 or 5 days. Well, and you can sell throughout that day, right? Muslim, you can sell. You're selling stones. But if you don't sell enough to overcome that $400,000 in the 4 or 5 days, even though you sold a lot of stones, you lost money. That's TV shopping, particularly in America. Difficult to do. Barriers to entry are huge. I've been in it for quite a while, and it's a fascinating part of the business because I'm a tiny part owner in the company, but it's not easy. Let me just see if I can get through this talk here. I'm getting a little nervous. Okay, so Here's some examples of what we have sold. As I said, 75% is jewelry, primarily colored stone jewelry, but we also sell a tremendous amount of loose gemstones. Of that $500 million in annual sales, about $125 million are gemstones. We also sell all types of tools and scales and books and videos and how-to instruments and anything related to the jewelry and gemstone industry. The next slide. Some examples of some stones in the upper left-hand corner, the second one down, you might recognize that. That's color change sapphire. These are all pictures of stones that we bought and sold. As I said, we've sold really every quality. I'm showing you some of the better quality because that's where me as a gem dealer, that's what I love to show and sell. But we really talk about everything with full disclosure, and I can't emphasize that enough. Total disclosure of every treatment there is. In a little while, I'm going to show you parts of our website called the Learning Library that we have extensive disclosure information on every gemstone, how it's treated, how frequently it's treated, how it affects the value, if it has durability issues and special care issues. That's all listed. And every time we show and talk about a gemstone, on the screen is how it's treated, and we refer you back to our website for more detail about that treatment. So in order to be successful, we have to create demand. We do that through education, what I call romancing the stone. It has to be done in an accurate and truthful way. It hasn't always been done that way, but really I believe the reason why we're successful and many have failed, and we've been in business 22 years, is because we've honestly tried and we've succeeded in telling the truth about the gemstone industry with transparency and fair pricing and fair information about disclosure and that wonderful 30-day money-back guarantee. Part of our website is the Learning Library, Gemopedia, comprehensive list of all the gemstones in existence and their descriptions. Gemstone enhancement care resource that I'll show you in a minute, glossary. We have blogs written by in-house experts and many national and international experts. So we're providing a lot of information all the time, as well as selling. We have to sell to pay the bills because the bills are high. Think $1 to $2 million a week of airtime cost. Difficult. So we're selling, but we're also marketing and promoting colored gemstones. And that's why I think that a company like Jewelry Television is actually good for the entire industry, because we create demand. Hundreds of thousands of people that have never bought a gemstone because they turned on our channel, they started watching. Many of them I said, how long did you watch before you bought a gemstone? And most of them said 3 months, 6 months, a year. It takes a long time to acquire a customer, because the vast majority of people that I've ever talked to, we all travel and flying around the world trying to buy gemstones. Sometimes someone would say, Jay, what do you do for a living? And I'd tell them, well, I buy gems and I sell them on TV. Without exception, hundreds and hundreds of people, as soon as I told them I buy gems and I sell them on TV, everybody said the same thing. Who in their right mind would ever buy a gemstone on television, right? You probably feel the same way. But the truth of the matter is that not very many people will, but the ones that do, they have the 30-day money-back guarantee, and we're creating that demand that in many cases they will watch us and learn about gemstones, and that spark and that interest will be created in colored gemstones like we all have. We're all hooked on gems, and our customers are actually hooked on gems also. We all love them. So that interest, sometimes they don't do business with us, but they'll go to their local jeweler and they'll say, I'd like to buy a 4-carat unheated Sri Lankan sapphire. And the jeweler maybe doesn't have it in stock, because that's another story. It's why we gained access, because jewelers didn't do such a good job of educating and having supply. But the jeweler will call their supplier, and who might call their supplier, who maybe is one of your customers here. And that's how what we do on television, I believe, is good for the entire supply chain. Let's see where we're going here. Okay, I think these might be live links. And you know, today with the internet, and that's okay. Today with the internet and tremendous amount of information being produced by world-class laboratories, and with the internet, lots of information available, Wikipedia, everything exists online. And a lot of people, go there and they learn there, but that's more of an intensive learning experience. We are explaining and teaching, and someone sitting in their home or laying in bed at night, they can watch us and they can actually acquire quite a bit of knowledge about gemstones. And if they watch us over time, I found that they can become quite knowledgeable about quality and price. We all know many stones that have gone up in recent years. Rubellite tourmaline in 2010, there was a nice find, a big 16-pound piece of rough that we were able to partner with a supplier. And it was from, we named it Agouti, from the town of Agouti. Top quality rubellite, clean, no treatment. We cut it from half carat up to 20 by 15 calibrated, and up stones up to 100 carats. We offered those stones to our clients for $30 up to about $120 a carat. Those same stones today, those fine, larger, gem, clean rubellites, we've seen trade in China for $400, $500, $700 a carat. We explain that to our customers. That creates continued interest and in our business. And this is an example of parts of the learning library. I invite you to go to the website, check this out for yourself. The gem enhancements section, I believe, is the most comprehensive listing of gemstone treatments that exists anywhere that's provided by a retailer, certainly. I mean, GIA does a great job, but in terms of someone that's a seller, I don't think anyone gets even close to what we do, and we talk about it all the time. Lots of great articles, so that's a big resource for our customers. Gemopedia is, again, information about gems, all the gems. Here's if you can read it, I'm not sure. Here's a partial example of the sapphire treatment listing. Now, this only shows a partial. I think there's 35 or maybe even 40 listed types of treatments here. And, the type of sapphire, the hardness, the enhancement method, the purpose, the frequency, the stability, durability, special cares, all of this is there. And this is just a partial example of that. So, influencing supply. We're a large company. We buy a lot of gemstones. We have to really have good relationships with our supply chain partners. Many of you in this room, I've been fortunate to do some business with. In recent years, some of that business hasn't worked for television because our primary price point might be lower than what many of the dealers in Sri Lanka sell on a daily basis. But fortunately, we're able to offer some of those goods too. We frequently need to buy entire productions. We'll partner with a supplier. They'll explain to us, this is what it'll cut, this is what your costs will be. We have a track record with them and enough knowledge and experience to understand what they're saying, what it'll be at the finished cost, and we'll say, okay, at this price, we're there to buy it. Sometimes they make a mistake. If we think it's an honest mistake, we're on their and we're both on the same side, we take it anyway so they don't get hurt. If it's one of those mistakes where maybe they built it in, we say we don't. We try to be honest and fair. We have a reputation of knowledge, experience, and being honest and fair with our suppliers as well as with our customers. But we really have to buy like dealers. Even though we're a TV shopping network, if we bought like a TV shopping network, we would not survive because most of the TV networks, they just don't understand real costs and real quality as is necessary to pay for our expenses and sell gemstones. And then what we do is, and this has been Jerry Sisk's vision in the beginning, if we get a good deal, we take a minimum margin based upon what we think we can put this on the air, sell it, overcome our costs, and make some money. That's our markup philosophy. It's not how much can we sell it for, it's how quickly can we sell it and be profitable and give a great deal to our customers. And over time, this has really engendered a tremendous amount of loyalty with our customer base because we have many, many repeat customers. And I've had the benefit to speak to hundreds or a few thousands of them. And I say, how often do you buy? Oh, I buy every week, or I buy, some of them every day. And I said, well, how often do you watch us? And many of them say, we have you on 10 to 12 hours a day. And it's kind of mind-blowing. But that's their access to the colored stone industry, is watching us on television. And remarkably, even though they know nothing about the industry other than watching us, they learn by seeing quality, being able to buy it for only shipping expenses and return it if they want. They learn over time to be smart buyers. And they recognize a great value when we put it up there. And it's like, how can anybody know what this new gemstone should cost? It isn't that we tell them it's a great deal. If we tell them it's a great deal and it's not, it limps out the door and we lose money. But if it is a good deal and we put it up there, the phones blow up and everybody wants it. It's like collectively our customers understand value, which is I've always found interesting, because it's so difficult for anyone to obtain the knowledge to know what different colored stones will cost in all the variations of quality. But collectively, our customers seem to have that down. And so part of our success is managing that, pricing it right so that it's a good value for the customer. And hopefully we can make some money at the end of the day. We are still growing. I think this year we're 16 to 18% ahead of last year in terms of growth. Many months we're 12 to 18,000 new customers a month, first-time buyers. A lot of those will go on to be repeat customers. So it's an interesting and powerful selling tool with a very high overhead. But again, it's good for the entire business. As I've mentioned, we have to have strong customer supply relationships with our supplier, not only for the access to the right product at the right price, but information about the markets and the trends so we can provide that to our customer base. And what we need, frequently we need to buy a group of stones so we can grade them and put one stone up, but then sell 5 or 10 or 15, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 of that same stone to cover our costs in a 10-minute period. That's what we mean by we need depth of quantity. So this is towards the end of my talk. I hope you found it interesting. In the end, I think you can think of us in many ways, but one way to think of us is we are almost like a giant marketing arm for the colored stone industry. We are promoting gemstones. We're telling the truth about gemstone sources and treatments, market information, providing transparency on all those levels, and creating desire to own gemstones by telling the exciting story of colored gemstones. All that secret information that when I started in the business, I said, how does this all work? That's what we're telling, and our customers are hungry for not only the gems, but also the information, and they've become collectors. And Jewelry Television's mission has evolved to be opening the world of jewelry and gemstones to everyone, and I thank you for the opportunity to share our story with you.
Thank you, Jay, and JTV, doing a great job promoting gemstone to lots of consumers who wouldn't normally be involved in buying gemstones. So they're doing a great job for everybody. Lunch is upstairs again in the same area. There are 3 lunchrooms up there. One of them is vegetarian. And it's also probably a good opportunity during lunch to take a look at our two trade shows that are going on. There is, of course, the Facets Gem Show up in the atrium area. And on your way out here, you'll notice that the NGJA have a pavilion just off to the left as you're walking up towards the stairs. So make sure that today or tomorrow you have a good look at some of the wonderful exhibits at both of those trade shows. Lunch is going on now, and we want to be back in here at 2 p.m. So please make your way up to the lunchroom.